Hey, what's up everyone? This is Anthony from Anthony's Customs, and for this review we are looking at the DC Collectibles animated Catwoman figure. Very happy to have this, just like all of the other animated figures that are coming out. I'm super excited that they're making these in the first place, so you guys know I'm a big Batman fan, and this is a welcomed addition to the collection. DC Collectibles, but fairly well articulated and in a 6-inch scale. She's only about 5.5 inches tall, so that's pretty good. Here's a shot of her with Batman, just so you get an idea. Stick around till the end of the video and I'll show some photos of her in some poses, but pretty good scaling there. And just in case you're curious, here's a DC Universe Classics Batman. So even with that figure, which is a little bit taller, still works pretty well. I didn't grab another Catwoman figure, but you can see they're pretty much well scaled with the DCUC figures. She comes with not as many accessories as Batman, so it's a little bit strange because she's a much smaller figure. So I'm not sure how that worked out. Maybe they just put all the money toward Batman that they saved on her, so that kind of makes sense, I suppose. Sculpt is pretty good, except for the fact that she's got that line right there between her boobages. That line is not supposed to be there. That's like from the sculpt or from the mold, and they left it. And then she also has this line right here, which you can kind of see a little bit there, so you can tell what they're going for with the sculpt. I feel like this line is just an accident that got left on the sculpt or an accident with the mold, so I'm not sure what's going on there either. And then just like on Batman, they didn't cover up the pegs. That would have been really nice if they did that, because it's not a horrible eyesore, but it's not great looking. You know, on standard figures we get the peg holes on the side. It's a lot easier to ignore those than the ones that are right down the front staring at you. So it's not great. Otherwise, she looks pretty darn good as far as sculpt goes. The head though, and this is kind of getting into paint, the eyes are really low on that sculpted whatever that is. Now I think that might be supposed to be like for the eyelash to make it look like it's sticking out, but I think they just put the eyes too low, and I think that's how they all are. So that's a little strange. We might be able to fix that by putting a little bit of black on top of there, but that's a little bit strange looking. And then the fact that they put her teeth, hopefully you can see that, have her teeth showing through her lips in the middle. Is it too hard to see? I don't know. Let's see if I can zoom in the light instead of bringing the figure really close. Yeah, you can kind of see that, I think. Her teeth are there. That just looks kind of weird to me, but that's not a huge deal. And if you're willing to paint your figure, it's not a big deal at all. We do have sculpted seams on the gloves up here, and of course on the boots where they're articulated. We'll talk about that. The belt is all sculpted. Paintwork on the belt is really sloppy though. Really, really sloppy. So I'm not exactly impressed with these figures. I'm happy with them. They do some things that much better than I thought they would, but there's a sort of a sense of laziness about these figures that just bugs me a little bit. And maybe for people that don't do customs or don't do reviews, it's not going to stand out. But for somebody who does, which, you know, these are made for adult collectors, things like having a really sloppy belt on there, it's a little bit irritating. And she doesn't have a thigh swivel again, and she's supposed to be fairly flexible, you know, she's Catwoman. No thigh swivel, useless boot swivel. So that's frustrating, but whatever. Let's look at the accessories real quick, then we'll go back to the figure. Let's break it up a little. She comes with a whip, or a whip if you want to call it that, which is sculpted pretty well. It has a little separation up here at the front. It's a soft plastic, so you don't have to worry about it breaking or anything unless you pull on it. Handle is sculpted, but it's not posable at all, so it's just going to hang limp. So I imagine most people are either going to make their own or do something about that. I probably would use the ends and put a black wire in the middle if I was interested in customizing it. She has a necklace, which I guess is cool. She steals things, so that works out. It's a little cheesy looking, but I guess it'll do. It's okay. She has what I think are supposed to be binoculars, but there's really just a gray chunk of plastic with a little bit of yellow on it. So it looks really cheap. I mean, I guess you could work it out in a pose to make them look a little bit better once you get everything set up. The ambiance of the pose might make it work, but they're kind of a cheap little accessory. That's okay. We have 6 hands in total. These 2 hands are kind of like angled gripping hands for whatever you want to use them for. Then we have 2 open palm hands. And then we have two gripping hands that have a tighter grip than the other ones. And they do all have the hinge, and of course they'll swivel once you put them in the arm. Then the last accessory, not counting the base or stage, is her cat that I just threw on the floor. And I know you guys are probably hoping for a cat appearance, but they're not around, so I can't have a cat on screen. So we have the cat, and it is articulated at the shoulders. This one won't stay on though. Poorly executed, I suppose. They do all swivel. I guess that's good. I think the tail is supposed to. It looks like it's supposed to, but mine's stuck. And then the head is on a ball peg, so that's good, except they made the ball peg too big, I guess, because mine is split. It was like that in the package, or it came out that way. It split the head when they put it on, so that's kind of disappointing. They did paint the eyes, though. It's a nice accessory, it's just not executed very well. And then she has this display stage that has the turnaround of her, which looks pretty cool. Then it has the upright, and it has this weird thing. And I guess they made it this way so that they could make it extend. These can slide in and out, but I don't know. I don't know why they want that for her, because she's not particularly, I mean, she's not extra posable, and she's still probably too heavy, so if you stuck it out like this, it would probably just flex too much. It's a very thin plastic, so very strange display stage, but it is included, so that's cool. Okay, so let's go through the articulation. Very nice articulation on the head. Doesn't look up all that well, but it does look up. Does look down, side to side. No problem there. That's pretty good. Shoulders, still not as bad as Batman, but definitely not as good as they should be. It's a ball hinge, but it's very limited, and we have no bicep swivel except for the one that's down here, which that I can live with, but the limitations on the shoulders, very upsetting. I shouldn't say very upsetting, very disappointing. Elbows, this one is very upsetting. She's got skinny arms. They could have easily given her better range of motion than this. That's not even 90 degrees. That's horrible. That is not good. And then, like I said, for the wrists are good. No problems there. No waist twist. I understand it would have looked bad to have a cut joint, so give her a diaphragm joint then. Do something. She has no waist twist, and she's supposed to be super flexible. That's disappointing. Hips, they don't go far back like Batman because they had to sculpt a butt, I guess, but the sculpt of the butt is really weird. Doesn't look natural at all just to have a big straight line like that. So that's a little strange, but they do go forward okay. Not as well as Batman though, so still Batman's more flexible than Catwoman. And the hips go out to the side, not as far as Batman, and hers look even weirder because the way they set the joint, it just hangs down really low, so it looks like her hip's dislocated. So posing her is going to be very tricky to do and to make it look good. Her knees, yeah, just, I don't know. Doesn't look that great to me. It looks like it should have better range of motion. We do have a boot swivel. I know some of you guys love a shin swivel. I personally, you guys know I don't like it at all, but we do have it. And we have a really nice ankle joint. It's kind of awkward looking, but it's very well utilized in posing the figure. You can bring the foot all the way back, bring it all the way forward, and we get that really nice ankle rocker on there. And I know it looks goofy at first, but once you get it posed, it just kind of blends into the rest of the figure. So that's really good. That's the best articulation on this figure, or on the Batman figure if you want to count that. So it's just a little bit disappointing in some regards, but it's still, once you get it posed, it does look really good. It does look like the show, so I definitely recommend it. Just be aware that it's not an incredibly well done figure. It's just a good version of the cartoon Catwoman. So there it is, guys. Thanks for watching. Make sure you subscribe to the channel for more figure reviews, custom figures, and other good stuff. And in the meantime, keep collecting.